All right, so today in this new week, we're going to be covering boss mentality, the mindset that you need in order to get people to come to your aid and help you in this project known as your successful career. Now, the first thing you need is clarity of vision, right? You need to be clear what it is you've done, what you're doing, and where you're going, all right? Now, if you followed everything in this course up to this point and left no stone unturned, as we discussed, it shouldn't be that difficult, right? It should be easy for you to say, look, I have a website, a professional, active social media presence. I have great pictures. I respond to people. I reach out to people. I cycle through my topics, right? All of the different things. Like I'm working with studios. I got my own studio. Like you have so much more than even your average so-called street hustler rapper already, and you just need to be clear about what it is you've succeeded on. What's one of the advantages of having this course, so that you can now, when you approach that possible manager, you can say, look, you already see that I'm out here grinding. You already see the work. You see the evidence, right? You can't fake this. You can't fake that hustle, right? Right. In the same way with how to rap, part of the reason you probably trusted the value of our course and trusted it is because you're like, well, I see Drew's been dropping videos for 5 years, more than half a decade. I see that he has tons of different courses that I can access. Like this is not, you can't scam or swindle somebody if you're doing something for 5 years consistently, totally good information for free. Same with you. Like you can't smooth talk your way out of a professional website, professional social media, active social media, all that. All right. So you're already halfway there and you're going to be clear with these people that you're going somewhere. All right. Second thing you need is certainty of speech, AKA watch your tone, right? You got to make sure that you're saying things with that belief, like, yo, you see how clearly it is. You've seen what I've already been up to. You see what I'm going to next. Like certain self-communications, the way that you speak indicate to a person how confident you are, how much you believe in yourself. So like we used to say back in the hood, is like, say it with your chest, you know what I'm saying? Like make sure that your speech patterns and the way that you're delivering what you need them for is spoken like a true boss. That's really important. Everything is built in teams, all right? That's another important thing for you to communicate with everybody that you want to be on your team. The reason this is important is, look, we've all worked for a bad boss. We've all worked for a narcissistic person. Like, we all know what it feels like to have somebody who just is all about themselves, but you either have to be on their team or you didn't realize it until you're already committed to working with them and stuff. So the minute you start with a clear vision, with a certain tone of voice, and say something like, look, I personally believe that all great things in life are built in teams. We've talked about this, right? I believe all great things are built in teams, and I'm looking to start building one around all of this stuff that I've already done with this clear vision and this certain speech, right? So communicating to them how important it is that you have people around you and that you're sharing responsibility, sharing in vision, sharing in clarity, the only more likely they're gonna wanna be like, yeah, like I'm messing with this dude, because it's so different than every two-bit boss that they've had to deal with over the course of their career. And they can see this is a person that really believes in what they're up to. This person's not messing around, and this person wants to have people around them. So I want to get on board with this. Smaller versions of bigger visions, right? Now you probably remember this mantra from earlier, okay? So smaller versions of bigger visions in this case means, look, you may not be able to afford every single team member we're going to discuss here, but there's a smaller personal version of that you can fill that role in. That role can still be filled until you're big balling, right? So for example, if you can't afford a full-time lawyer, right, that takes real money, right? But you can still have a LegalZoom membership, which we'll discuss in future videos, where you have access to a lawyer for, you know, a monthly fee, or you can even at a smaller price get a pre-built contract from LegalZoom to handle some of your legal stuff, right? So there are ways for you to have that role of lawyer filled before you actually have a full-time lawyer. Or manager, again, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. Your manager, you may not have 10% of anything to give to them, 15% of whatever to give to them, but you can be your own manager, or you can get a good friend to be your manager, and we'll cover that again tomorrow, to fill that role until it's time for Scooter Braun, or, you know what I'm saying, hip hop from 1972, like these are famous managers, right? So you can have that role filled, that it'll just be a smaller version of that bigger vision. And the last boss mentality, super important, is emotional control, all right? Can't be having outbursts anymore, right? You're no longer just an artist, you are a business and a businessman or woman. All right, so it's extremely important that you practice small steps to make sure that you're not being seen as sort of a person that doesn't know how to control themselves, because people aren't gonna wanna work for you. And if, on the other hand, if you're more of a stabilizing influence, along with all the other things we mentioned, with a clear vision, with a certain speech, wanting to work with a team, people are really gonna believe in you. Now, there are ways around how to sort of manage your emotional state. And I'll just give you a couple here, like how do I do it? And how do I get so much done, all right? So first thing I do is I make sure to always have my phone on airplane mode in the morning. Like this is actually really big, so that I don't start my day just all up in my phone, right? Or just immediately checking everything, and like my day, you know how like when you're not focused, your day starts pretty bad and you're just like, I can't do it, like I don't know, you know what I mean? So first thing I do is make sure that my phone is on airplane mode for the first hour or two of my day, just so I can like, you know, sort of wake up, have some quiet time to just clear my brain, right, and then get focused. Kind of related, I also make sure to have notifications off on my social media. My text and my phone calls do have notification, because that might be emergency, but like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, like I don't have the little numbered push notifications or whatever you call it. Like I don't have any of that, because I would never get anything done. Like I'd be totally distracted. I'd probably be in mid-video like, ooh, okay, new message, new DM, right? So turning the notifications off, extremely, extremely important. Last thing I personally do, which is probably the least rapper thing you'll hear in this entire course, is I meditate. I meditate for 10 minutes a day. You know, they even suggest maybe 20, but I just do 10 to, you know, make it quick. In the morning, this is extremely helpful for you to just kind of, your brain and your thinking to not be overwhelmed. It's one of the ways I'm able to shoot tons and tons of video content, because I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know much about this and you want to learn and in a way that's like meant for a normal person, right? Meditation has this weird feeling like, it's like, yo, do I have to be like the, you know what I mean, the little girl on the beach with the hand. Nah, you ain't got to do all that. There's a really good program called Waking Up, right? Like as in Waking Up from Sleep, by a guy named Sam Harris. That's a program that I personally use. I've meditated on and off for years, but that's one I'm currently using, and it's really good because it's guided meditations, 10 minutes a day. The introductory course is 50 days straight, and it's like 10 minutes, right? So anybody can do it. And that's just a really good way to introduce yourself. It will really help you just not freak out all the time and like get all those outbursts, you know what I'm saying? So that's another way to maintain your emotional control.